Welcome to The Leftovers. I'm Rachel Bell. The Leftovers is audio left on the cutting room floor from last week's Your Last Meal interview. And today you'll hear never-before-heard cuts from Chuck Palahniuk, the prolific novelist most famous for writing Fight Club, the best-selling book turned into a film starring Brad Pitt and Ed Norton. Chuck has written nearly 20 books over the past 2 decades, and his new novel is called Shock Induction. Last week on Your Last Meal, Chuck talked about the foods he loved as a kid.
We would eat these ancient hostess treats, fruit pies, ho-hos, ding-dongs, Twinkies, snowballs, which by then were gummy and stale, and they had an even better mouthfeel. The marshmallow parts of the snowballs would be rubbery, and it would take forever to eat. And there was just something so incredible about having the sugar migrated to the outside.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Crust on it.
Yeah. And the foods he hated.
And at one point, my mother must have canned or frozen 500 pounds of peaches. We ate peaches for so long that I really cannot stand to even look at a peach.
And she made pies out of them too, right? And burnt them?
She made 1,000,000 pies. The thermostat in the oven was bad. She burned every single pie. She froze them, and we still had to eat them, which was another curse of the peaches.
I recommend listening to last week's full episode before listening to this one. But if you're all caught up, let's get into The Leftovers with Chuck Palahniuk.
In the early 70s, there was this whole movement towards convenience foods. And it was after so many women went back into the workforce. And so there was really nobody at home to cook. And one big food convenience gimmick was Knox Gelatin wanted to sell everyone packets of flavorless gelatin. So they came out with Knox blocks where you would make regular flavored gelatin, but you would add enormous amounts of Knox flavorless gelatin to it so that once it would solidify, it would never melt. And you would get these sheets full of very, beautiful green or red flavored jello that you could cut into different shapes. And they would look like stained glass. They would be so beautiful in the sunshine. And no matter how hot the day, they would never melt, and they would be rubbery, and they would never taste as good as they looked. But because they were so loaded with gelatin, when you ate them, your hair and your fingernails would get incredibly strong.
Oh.
And so my sisters always had these fingernails that they could open soda pop cans with.
And you said that your family was pretty prone to these kind of gimmicks, like your family really loved a gimmick like this?
We loved gimmicks like that. They always came with a little booklet of recipes, like on the back of the, what was it called? It wasn't Miracle Whip, because Miracle Whip was a sandwich spread, but there was a powdered dessert topping. Dream Whip. Dream Whip always came with a book of recipes on the back where you could mix Dream Whip with different things and layer it. So those little booklets were really the only cookbook we could afford. So we had kitchen drawers filled with these little booklets that had been published by some industry that just wanted to kind of boost sales.
That's where the green bean casserole came from. It was from one of those booklets that Campbell's put out. And I can't remember the woman's last name, but her first name is Dorcas. So I never forget that.
Oh, my God.
Her full name is Dorcas Riley. And this is a very appropriate fact for an episode releasing on Thanksgiving Day. What I told Chuck is mostly correct. Dorcas Riley did invent the green bean casserole in 1955, but it wasn't for a recipe booklet. It was for a feature in the Associated Press. They were looking for a quick and easy dish using ingredients that most Americans had in the pantry. At the time, Dorcas was a recipe developer and supervisor in the Campbell's test kitchen. And over the years she worked there, she developed hundreds of recipes. But green bean casserole, originally named green bean bake, is to this day by far the most popular recipe to come out of the Campbell's test kitchen. Campbell's cream of mushroom soup was a brand new product, and the first of their soups to also be marketed as a sauce. In the 1960s, the green bean casserole recipe was printed on the back of the soup can, and only then did it become a popular Thanksgiving side dish. Campbell says it's served in 20 million homes each year. I didn't grow up eating this dish. I begged my parents for it. I only got to eat it when I was an adult. So I'm going to tell you what's in it in case you've never had it. Green bean casserole is canned green beans, a can of cream of mushroom soup, a little milk, a little soy sauce, a little black pepper, all baked with a topping of French fried onions. And as far as I know, you might be eating it right now.
Okay, before I let you go, I'm going to ask you, do a little speed round. Number one, what is your perfect idea of a birthday cake or a birthday dessert?
Birthday dessert, not a baked apple.
Okay.
Baked apples are terrible.
Okay.
Birthday dessert. It would be citrus. It would be a lemon meringue pie. A lemon meringue pie.
That's a good one. I've never asked anyone this question because I think it's kind of played out, but I feel like you would have an interesting answer. Just that classic dead or alive, if you were having a dinner party, what 5 people would you want to eat with?
Oh, man. Boy, I wish I had more of an answer. I would want to eat with David Foster Wallace, who was always kind of my partner in crime in writing fiction.
He can bring the lobster.
Oh, yes. Nora Ephron, another dead person. Damn it. And Sharon Tate, another dead person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just want to brag that you're still alive. That's why you want to have this dinner.
No, these were people that I wish I had known better while they were alive. So people I would like to reconnect with.
Did you get to meet Nora Ephron?
I did. We were thrown together in a kind of blind date at a bar called Cognac in New York. And it was really just a matter of months before she died.
Oh.
And Ira Levin would be at that dinner party because I just worshiped Ira Levin. And he was another person I sought out and befriended before he died. And it's funny, they're almost all writers.
Yeah.
So we're up to 4 at this point.
I think so.
Ira, David, Sharon, Nora. Oh, geez. How about Studs Terkel, another writer?
Oh, I haven't heard of them. Studs Terkel?
Yeah, he was a famous reporter, I think, for the Chicago Tribune. And he made a career out of interviewing people and then compiling these interviews into enormous books that basically profiled every kind of working class person you would ever want to probably not meet. But as a child, reading the Studs Terkel books just gave me a kind of an insight to every profession I might ever be kind of put into by circumstances.
Yeah.
So the Studs Terkel books were really fascinating.
I want the Campbell's soup lady Dorcas to marry him so she could have been Dorcas Terkel.
That sounds like Snuffleupagus.
It does. Dorcas Terkel, plastics. Besides the potato pancake, what is the best thing that your husband cooks that you love the most?
Oh, he makes a cornmeal sugar cookie.
Ooh.
And is basically a snickerdoodle, but it's made with cornmeal. And so it has that odd sweetness of the corn, but it also has that, again, that mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Where it's slightly rubbery. It's not crumbly like, what are they called? The Scotch butter cookies?
Oh, the shortbread?
Oh, I hate shortbread.
You do?
Oh my gosh. Mike loves shortbread, but shortbread is my Satan. I hate shortbreads because they fall to pieces. There's just not a toothiness to them.
That's so funny. I've never heard someone hate shortbread before. I love it.
Oh, there's so much to hate about shortbread. But the cornmeal sugar cookies have a rubbery chewiness to them that redeems them. They're sweet, but they have that much more durable mouthfeel.
And my last question of my speed round, what is your favorite Portland restaurant?
Henry Ford's, which has been closed for a decade now.
Oh, that's where you can have your dinner with all of your deceased friends.
Yeah, it was a great old supper club. Oh, but in the meantime, I'm gonna throw it a softball one.
Sure.
There's a restaurant in the train station called Wilf's, and it's a great old supper club that always seems to have a jazz combo playing. And frankly, the food is terrible, but they create steak Diane and steak side Caesar salad where they break the eggs into the salad.
Yeah.
Steak side crepe Suzette.
That's old school, like where they roll the cart up. And then I love that too. That's like it's old school dinner theater.
Exactly. And it smells like cigarette smoke. Wilf's.
Still does.
Yeah.
Do they wear tuxedos, the people who come to the table?
I think they do. It's very red leather boots. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It also just feels so mob-like. It doesn't feel like a Portland thing.
Exactly.
And that was Chuck Palahniuk's Leftovers. The Leftovers and Your Last Meal are both products of Seattle's Cascade PBS. This episode was mixed and mastered by Isaac Kaplan-Woolner, original theme music by Prom Queen. And the show was created, hosted, and co-produced by me. I'm Rachel Bell. This is The Leftovers. Happy Thanksgiving.